this stream. Says upcoming. Okay. And we're live. I made a mistake in the most recent stream, and I left off 2 cards for 2 different reasons. That's going to be the first thing we talk about right on time. Hello, Milo. So, if you didn't know, the hero archetype had name-changing errata. All that they did is they took the lowercase hero and changed it to all uppercase hero. This means that certain cards got renamed, and in my spreadsheet it didn't recognize that. So basically, I left off Destiny Hero Malicious out of Duelist Pack Aster, Duelist Pack 5, I think. Hello, Malachite. Hello, Lamron Jr. Good afternoon. Which is really sad, because Malicious is fantastic. If you don't already know, Malicious is definitely worth considering today. Anytime Malicious is at 3, I think Malicious is worth considering. At 2, debatable. It's not likely, but you could draw both of your Malicious and then you're sad. There are ways to put it back into the deck. It does combo really well with Plague Spreader Zombie if you do happen to draw the second Malicious. But this is probably your best Destiny draw discard target. I'd say probably. At one point, I'd say that Disc Commander was, but we'll see later today that Disc Commander got some effect-changing errata. But yeah, Destiny Hero Malicious. Dark Attribute, level 6, Warrior Effect. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Special summon 1 Destiny Hero Malicious from your deck. 800 attack, 800 defense. The level 6 is actually really interesting too, because this card can be used with Over Destiny to get out Doomlord, and it means the Doomlord's a little bit more splashable too. Hello, Rain McKnight. Easy, worth considering today. Eventually, we might fix it in the premium, but for now, that's my correction. Mali is such an interesting card. It's fun tech and was very strong for a wide range of time. Yeah, but it's not just strong in archetype, it's just strong in general. The other card that I neglected to mention is a jump promo, and the jump promos are all sorts of messed up. On the wiki, they don't always list when the card was released. Not only that, some of them are out of order, not because they're in the wrong order, they're in order based on their jump promo number, which is not necessarily chronological. So, I manually added a lot of jump promos into the spreadsheet, and the one I missed last time was Victory Dragon. Oh, the Surrender Magnet. Yeah. Victory Dragon is broken? It is a design mistake on multiple levels. I'd say at least 3, but possibly more, and we'll get to it. It's a Dark Attribute level 8 dragon effect. This card cannot be special summoned. To tribute summon this card, you must tribute 3 dragon-type monsters. If this card attacks your opponent directly and reduces their life points to 0, you win the match. 2,400 attack, 3,000 defense. Weird stat lineup. Problem 1 is Victory Dragon is not a good card on its own, so when you lose to it, it feels really bad. It feels like cheese. That they could take one game, you could even be up ahead one game, and then they snatch one with Victory Dragon, and then you lose the whole match. That's not a good feeling. The 3 Dragon-type monsters for tribute isn't that hard because you got Troop Dragon and you got Mass Dragon. There's a few ways that you can finagle it. Problem number 2 with Victory Dragon. Your opponent can surrender at any point. So if they forfeit when Victory Dragon is on the field and doesn't connect, then they only lose the game instead of losing the match. There's a special rule for Victory Dragon where they can't surrender when you're declaring an attack, but then you can just surrender if you're in the board position where Victory Dragon could still wipe out the rest of your life points. The card is not well designed. I guess they could revise the rule and you cannot surrender while Victory Dragon's on the field. Problem number 3. All the other match winner cards, and this is a tradition that's gone on for quite some time. There's a lot of them, like Zexix is one of them. Stardust Divinity is one of them. They all have the card text cannot be used in a duel, or in other words, they are illegal cards. Comment from Milo. Okay, but like, if you manage to win with Victory Dragon, you are already going to win? Yes. But you win the whole match. It just invalidates the other 2 games. So yeah, Victory Dragon is 3 different design mistakes, maybe more. I don't think that this card should ever have been legal. I think all the match winners being together in their own camp of illegal cards is fine, but they're just not designed with with fairness or competitiveness in mind. Odd that he's dark, yet he's glowing gold. Yeah. Okay. So that's it for corrections. That's what I've missed last time. Hopefully going forward, I got all the jump promos in the spreadsheet till 2014. So we got some time, I think. And I'm going manually by format library, but sometimes format library releases things in a weird order. I think it might be based on worldwide release, not just North American release, but it's okay. We make mistakes. I'm shooting for 99% accurate, maybe. Anyway, stream today is going to be going over the booster set Strike of Neos. Duelist Pack 4, we went over 3 and 5 last time. This one's Zane themed. World Championship 2007 promotional cards. The Jump promo. And then Champion packs, which have replaced tournament packs, but they're basically the same thing. So, Champion Pack 3. We also get, I think, 1 card from the Duelist structure deck, the Jaden structure deck. Let's get to it. First card is our secret rare. It is 0/0/0 in the set, which is pretty cool. Grandmaster of the Sixth Samurai, Earth Attribute, level 5. Warrior effect. You can only control 1 Grandmaster of the Sixth Samurai. If you control the Sixth Samurai monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, target 1 Sixth Samurai monster in your graveyard. Add that target to your hand. 2100 attack, 800 defense. Could you ask for more? Yo, is that Ravadactyl? What? I think this card has definitely been meta. Do you play this in modern variants of Six Samurai? The level doesn't really match. It's so nice, though. inherent special summon, and it replaces itself when it's destroyed by a card effect. But that's still pretty good. I just don't know if it's worth considering today. Next up, Gene Warped Warwolf. Earth attribute, level 4, Beast Warrior. This Warwolf was given incalculable strength through horrific genetic manipulation. Its gentle nature was completely wiped out, and it now lives only to unleash destruction. 2000 attack, 100 defense. Hey, this set marks the power ceiling getting a little bit higher for normal monsters. In fact, we get the 3 normal monsters back to back to back. So we broke the 1900 attack barrier and the 2500 attack barrier. And sort of get close to Blue Eyes with the Spiral Serpent. But, Power Crept Voice Raider, yep. Grandmaster is alright as a searchable level 5 for synchro plays, but otherwise Modern 6 Samurai doesn't need him. Yeah. Grandmaster was fun. It's that in that he was worth more than the cost of entry for the sneak peek, so people could buy entry, get the copy, drop, then sell them and buy another entry. That is ridiculous. That is amazing. And that's like that's like a real life exploit. In terms of utility for Gene Warped Warwolf, you could run this in your Fire Fist deck, for instance, because it is a Beast Warrior searchable by Tenki, and it does give you a Rescue Rapid target, but I don't think I've seen that in Fire Fist decks. With all that attack, you'd think that he wouldn't even try to defend, yet he still holds on to 100. Gaga Gigo is stronger than Spiral? I thought it was 2950. We'll see in a minute. Oh, it is 2950, isn't it? Do-do-do. You're right. Goga Giga Gaga Gigo is 2950. Thank you. I think Gene Warped Warwolf is... I think we'll put him in good on release, or maybe the fringe play. I don't know. He's got a lot going for him. Next up, Frostosaurus? Frostosaurus? Hard to say. Water attribute, level 6, dinosaur normal. This monster's metabolism enables it to endure long periods of cold, harnessing the power to become a creature of solid ice. Nothing else can withstand such temperatures, especially victims of its glacial rampage. 2600 attack, 1700 defense. It's sort of like immune to cold wave too. This card did power creep Summon Skull. It's also more searchable than Summon Skull. I know we get Fusion Conscription for Summon Skull, but Fossil Dig comes out pretty soon. That's not bad. It's just big number for level 6 isn't a big deal. Especially when you can just be special summoning cards directly from your hand with some of the 6 Samurai support that comes out. Is Cold Wave lore? Possibly. Good on release is a good spot for him. 2k normal with no downside was still pretty playable at the time. Okay. I think we'll put this guy on good on release too. Next up, Spiral Serpent. Water attribute, level 2, 4, 6, 8. 8. Sea Serpent. When huge whirlpools lay cities asunder, it is the hunger of the sea serpent at work. No one has ever escaped its dreaded spiral wave to accurately describe the terror they experienced. 2900 attack, 2900 defense. And yes, it's not as strong as Gogagigagagigo. Say that at all. But in terms of raw stats, it's comparable to Blue Eyes. It's got more total stats. It's got 5,800 instead of Blue Eyes is 5,500. It's just distribution doesn't really matter. Spirals are fun? Okay. Frostosaurus will always be funny to me because a friend used to slam him down and summon Skull and yell, Frotosaurus in a deep caveman voice. That's great. It is cool that this card predates spirals by so long and that it's foreshadowing. There's a lot of little foreshadowing like that. So much of this list is bad/gimmick. Yeah. And that's a lot of sets, to be honest. Which is a little bit weird. You'd think that it'd be a little less bottom heavy, but I don't know. Gotta sell more packs, gotta fill them with something. Next up, Neo-Spacian Air Hummingbird. Wind attribute, level 3, Winged Beast effect. Once per turn, you can gain 500 life points for each card in your opponent's hand. 800 attack, 600 defense. So, Hummingbird's not bad. There's actually an interesting combo that you use Neo-Spacian Air Hummingbird, gain up to like 2,500 life points if your opponent hasn't used any hand traps. And you can special summon Cooling Embers from your hand because you gained life points, and then you can make a rank 3. I think all the Neo-Spacians either get into the gimmick tier because there was Space Gift and Convert Contact. They were used as a draw/deck thinning engine, and you wanted to play all the different ones because you wanted 6 different names. But in terms of actual playability, Air Hummingbird also is used with the Air Neos OTK decks, where you gain life points and then it gains a whole bunch of attack points and you just one-shot your opponent. I think the nature of sets with around 100 cards on average leads to having a lot of chuff. Man, it's still weird that they never made a fusion for Air Hummingbird and Neos. It's in the set. Air Neos is in the set. It's on the cover. Grand Mall the ultimate stall. But we're just gonna put you in gimmick tier. Air Neos is a card, yeah. Next up, Neo-Spacian Grand Mall. Earth attribute, level 3, rock effect. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can return both the opponent's monster and this card to the hand. 900 attack, 300 defense. This card's really good for the time, and it was at 1 for the longest time. It's just bounce, 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 bounce. If your opponent is using extra deck monsters, especially, this card just bouncing them is free advantage. But it bounces itself too, so it's not a -1. You're trading your normal summon for a compulsory evacuation device. So you're trading, an invisible resource for a tangible benefit. Grand Mole was really good. Yeah. Someone doesn't know that Air Neos is redacted? What does that mean? It's neat that about half of the Neo-Spacians have decent utility for the time, even if Dolphin and Mole punched way above their weight class, yeah. Can also bounce extra deck cards, yeah. I don't think it's worth playing anymore, outside of, being fusion material. But I really wish we had gotten Grand Mole just a few months earlier so that it could have been in the rock structure deck, because for some reason this guy's a rock. Why isn't this guy a beast? Of course, with Rescue Cat, this guy as a beast might have gotten banned. Just being honest. Next up, arguably worst Neo-Spacian. Neo-Spacian Glowmoss. Light attribute, level 3, plant, effect. If this card attacks or is attacked, your opponent draws one card and shows it. Then based on its type, apply this effect. Monster, in the battle phase of this turn, which can really suck if you're the one attacking. Spell, if this card is attacking, you can change it to a direct attack instead. And it's going to do big damage with a 300 attack. Trap, change this card to defense position, where it only has 900 defense. It is a plant. I guess you could be using Lone Fire Blossom when we get Lone Fire Blossom. Speed up your deck a little bit. That's not bad. It's also light attribute, and people were playing Chaos variants with the aforementioned Space Gift Convert Contact engine. And that's the only reason why Glowmoss saw play. 300 direct attacks are lethal. Glowmoss is so scrungly? I love him. I've never heard that word. Scrungly. Actual trash, yeah. Unquestionably worst Neo-Spacian. If this card was a normal monster, it'd be better, but giving your opponent cards is terrible. If you drew the card every time this card battled, it'd be really strong, I think. It'd be significantly better at the very least. But very notable that it can make the opponent's attack a direct attack. How can it do that? I don't know how it can make the opponent's attack a direct attack. Because spell, if this card is attacking, you can change it to a direct attack instead. Maybe I read it wrong. Or maybe this card's got an errata? I don't know. Poor Glowmoss. Its baby chrysalis form is really cute. No trouble. Moving on to our 6 samurais. First is Yaichi. Water attribute, level 3, warrior effect. Once per turn, you can target a spell/trap card, destroy that target. You must control another 6 samurai monster with a different name to activate and to resolve this effect. This card cannot declare an attack during the turn this effect is activated. If this card would be destroyed, you can destroy another face-up 6 samurai monster you control instead. 1300 attack, 800 defense. Yaichi pop, baby. Average not reading Yu-Gi-Oh player, to be honest. I'm trying my best. I'm going through every card in order so that people will stop saying that I can't read. Yaichi is great in Archetype? Yeah, you played Yaichi when it was a meta deck. I really like the design space that they're exploring, where you could either attack or you get this interesting effect. The fact that the 6 samurais will sub in for each other is really interesting too. The destruction substitution, there's a lot of ways that you can play around with that. No, I meant me! I can't read, referring to Scary Camel. MST was limited? Oh yeah, MST is at 1 right now. That's why people are playing Twister and Mystical Wind Typhoon and all sorts of weird stuff. So, Yaichi, very powerful for the time. Next up, Kaman. Fire attribute, level 3, warrior effect. Once per turn, you can target a face-up spell/trap, destroy that target. You must control another 6 samurai monster with a different name to activate and to resolve this effect. This card cannot declare an attack during the turn this effect is activated. If this card would be destroyed, you can destroy another face-up 6 samurai monster you control instead. 1500 attack, 1300 defense. Basically the same card. It hits the face up instead of the face down. So. It's also another name. Next up, Yariza. Earth attribute, level 3. Warrior effect. While you control a face-up 6 samurai monster with a different name, this card can attack your opponent directly. If this card would be destroyed, you can destroy another 6 samurai monster you control instead. 1000 attack, 500 defense. This one's okay. Unlike Glowmoss, for instance, 1000 damage is an okay amount of damage to be attacking directly. When you think back to like Servant of Catabolism, this card is more powerful than that. But if you compared it to Stealth Bird, you know, Stealth Bird's doing effect damage, it's recurring, you can just flip it back face down and you get a little bit of defensive option. I think Yariza is okay, but I don't think you're running it. OG 6 Ams are such a cool idea. Just a bit worse for face-ups, yeah. And it's a guaranteed direct attack on Servant of Catabolism. Pretty outclassed even at the time. Yeah. It's weird that like half the 6 samurais are level 3 and half are level 4. The 6 different attributes, I'm not going to say that's weird, that's fine. Like the whole archetype is built around that, so it's okay. But we're not quite to the point of uniformity in archetypes yet. Next up, Nisashi. Wind attribute, level 4, warrior effect. While you control a face-up 6 samurai monster with a different name, this card can attack twice during each battle phase. If this card would be destroyed, you can destroy another face-up 6 samurai monster you control instead. 1400 attack, 700 defense. So this is marginally better than Mataza the Zapper, except that's a level 3, so it gets under Gravity Bind and level limit area B. Plus, Mataza the Zapper has a small perk that it can't change to your opponent's side of the field. This one requires another 6 samurai, and the benefit is only 100 more attack. And if you wanted to compare it to another Wind Warrior, you got Hayabusa Knight, which has 1000 attack and can attack twice. I think it's pretty filler. Keeping track of which ones were level 3 and which don't is annoying. Like, why does the Foot Soldier only do level 3s? Double attack plus any equipment? Yeah. I wonder how many people teched Nano Breaker against 6 Samurai. Ooh, that Puppet Plant, though. We're not there yet. We're not to Puppet Plant yet. But I love him. I don't think you ever tech Nano Breaker. Maybe in your side. Next up, Zanji. Light attribute, level 4, warrior effect. At the end of the damage step, if this card attacked, destroy the monster this card attacked. You must control a face-up 6 samurai monster with a different name to activate and to resolve this effect. If this card would be destroyed, you can destroy another face-up 6 samurai monster you control instead. 1800 attack, 1300 defense. Those are decent stats for the time. This is really interesting because if you're the one attacking into something bigger, then you think that you might be sacrificing your Zanji, but then you actually get to use the destruction replacement effect and can pop something else instead. That's pretty cool. It's nice utility on a decent body. I know I've seen that one in contemporary Six Samurai decks. Zanji has cool art, yeah. Trying to think if I'm missing anything about Zanji. Next up, Iroh. Dark Attribute, level 4. Looks amazing in its artwork. It looks like a Future Samurai. Like the future upcoming card, Future Samurai. Which is really cool. Warrior effect. At the start of the damage step, if this card attacked a face-down defense position monster, destroy that monster. Ooh. You must control a face-up Six Samurai monster with a different name to activate and to resolve this effect. If this card would be destroyed, you can destroy another face-up Six Samurai monster you control instead. 1700 attack, 1200 defense. Arguably, this card is a downgrade from Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke, but an upgrade from Drillroid. Like, it's sandwiched between them in terms of stats. 1800 attack and a light is also a nice stat lineup. That's true. We don't get many of those beaters. This card is literally worse Zanji? Let me think about that. I'm wondering if there is a situation where Iroh... Oh, it flips it face up still. You still go through to the... at the start of the damage step. So this one still hits flip effects. But it does take out floaters. He's better in some circumstances because it happens to be the start of the damage step. Still get hit by flip effects? Yeah. But it was played at the time. Now for, like, the big payoff of your Six Samurais with Great Shogun Shien. Fire Attribute, level 7, Warrior effect. If you control 2 or more face-up Six Samurai monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Your opponent can only activate one spell/trap card each turn. If this card would be destroyed, you can destroy a face-up Six Samurai monster you control instead. And boy, we can see the gears turning. Normal summon a Six Samurai, special summon Grandmaster, special summon Great Shogun Shien, and you get a lot of board presence really quickly. Also, Grandmaster of the Six Samurai means that your other Six Samurai monster effects are online. And then you get this crazy stun card, at least for the time. I'm not sure if a lot of modern decks are activating more than one spell or trap a turn. They're mostly monster based. There are definitely spells in the game still. I'm not arguing that, but in terms of it being detrimental, I think it's not nearly as bad as it used to be. Shien would probably still be worth playing today if Six Samurai was good, yeah. Even nowadays, I think these hand traps still hold up. If you're talking about Electric Virus, Puppet Plant, and Marionette, I don't think they're actually hand traps. I think they're pseudo hand traps. There's no way they originally drew Shien to be a Six Samurai card. Yeah. Why does Shien not have the Six Samurai background? Grandmaster's got it. The other six got it. It does slow down E-Heroes. That's fair. I think a lot of decks do want to resolve at least 2 spells. There are a lot of good going second spells. That's true. But if one of your spells is Lightning Storm, for instance, or you Kaiju first, or there's a lot of ways to counterplay around it. I think if you want to try to play it today, it'd be in Gimmick, but I think historical meta at one point. Xian saw some play in Pendulums since they could Pendulum summon them out. Oh, that's sneaky. I think Xian got retconned into Six Samurai lore since Great Shogun Xian is an upgrade of an older card. His armor especially doesn't fit. It's more like European plate armor, not high-tech samurai armor. So I think he just got worked into the lore / the lore got built around him. That is fascinating. I can totally see that. That he's even got a beard. I don't know. Sort of got Last Ronin vibes, I think. Sort of got Supreme King vibes, too. If you just look at his silhouette with the spikes. Next up, Xian's Foot Soldier. Weird artwork. Little monkey man. Earth attribute, level 2. Warrior effect. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 level 3 or lower 6 samurai monster from your deck. 700 attack, 300 defense. I don't know why they keep making these floater monsters so weird. It's like they have weird restrictions. We had Mass Dragon, and that card's great. We got Howling Insect. We got Pyramid Turtle, probably the best floater, arguably. And then you get weird ones like Scar, Scout of the Dark World, and Xian's Foot Soldier, and later we get Test Ape. Very weird. Troop Dragon. Yeah, Troop Dragon's good. The old card is called Tenkabito Shin, if you're interested. It was from Shadow of Infinity. I do remember Tenkabito Shin. He was a pyro. Should be level 4 or lower. That would be much better. Funny monkey. I don't think you even play it in Archetype. It is better than Warrior Lady of the Wasteland, for what that's worth. But you got Rhoda. Next up, Sage of Silence. Light attribute, level 4. Spellcaster, effect. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, your opponent cannot activate spell cards during the next turn. 1400 attack, 1000 defense. This is a pretty strong stun effect on a difficult condition with mediocre stats. But it is actually a spellcaster, so I guess it synergizes with Secret Village, where you shut down your opponent from activating spells in general, for what that's worth. I think it's just filler. Situational? Yeah. Its counterpart is the Sage of Stillness. Light attribute, level 4, spellcaster effect. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, your opponent cannot activate trap cards during the next turn. 1400 attack, 1000 defense. So your opponent can't activate trap cards during their turn. Oh, what a bummer. There are definitely cards that you do want to activate during your own turn, like Jar of Greed, Reckless Greed. There's a lot of times where this is okay, but the majority of the traps that you're playing are 1 battle traps, like Sakuretsu Armor. We get Deprison in a few sets. So this effect doesn't really suit the monster. It's got the same stat lineup too, if I didn't say that. 1400, 1000. I guess these cards would be a little bit better if they lasted an entire round, but then they'd also be stronger. I'm glad that these cards aren't any better than they are, because they could have been oppressive. Well, he's just bad. Wonder Wand, I guess? Yeah. Is that a trap monster deck that could get shut down by Sage of Stillness? Okay. Next up, Rainbow, or according to one of my friends, Rainbowix, Overlord of Dark World. Dark Attribute, level 7, Fiend effect. If this card is discarded from your hand to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, special summon this card from the graveyard. If summoned this way, destroy all monsters your opponent controls, or all spells/traps they control. 2500 attack, 1800 defense. This Dark World is unique. Most of the time they trigger from either player, causing them to be discarded. This one only for your opponent. So this one is hard counterplay to your opponent using discard effects. / if you're causing your opponent's card effects to be discard effects by running Dark Deal, for instance. Contemporarily, there are a lot more ways to force your opponent into causing you to discard your cards, so Rainbow gets a lot more playable as a result. That effect is still pretty decent. Just wiping your opponent's board. It's just, is the juice worth the squeeze? Was really strong. Rainbow is such a great name. Unfortunately, only the modern builds can spare a slot for him. And that's only because he's a named fusion material. Oh man. The Dark World Mirror is really interesting. I think we still put him in worth considering today. Either that or acceptable in archetype. Are Dark Worlds worth considering today? Maybe. They have such strong, deck thinning and draw power that I think as an engine they function well, but there's also too many pieces. There's a lot of clunkers in Dark Worlds too. In archetype is the most fitting, I think. Thank you, Malachite. Now, onto his friends. Or supplicates? I don't know. We got Kaki, Gorilla of the Dark World. So this color is khaki. Dark Attribute, level 2, Fiend effect. If this card is discarded to the graveyard by a card effect, target one monster on the field, destroy it. 300 attack, 500 defense. And it's okay in your Dark World deck. The fact that this card gets searchable with snow does make it better, but I feel like this is a situational effect, and most of the time you're looking for deck thinning, draw power in Dark Worlds. Not exactly as good as Grapha. I know we don't get Grapha yet. It's not bad, but I think it could be better for Kaki. Honest, decent effect. Honest in Dark Worlds, yeah? If you would go to regionals with Dark Worlds today, then yes, worth considering today. They're good, but slightly fragile. Its counterpart is Grin, Tactician of Dark World. So this one's green. You can see it in the cape. Dark Attribute, level 2, Fiend effect. If this card is discarded to the graveyard by card effect, target one spell/trap on the field, destroy it. Can be face up, face down, doesn't care. 300 attack, 500 defense. Significantly worse. Yeah, he's even Maneater Bug's level. So much in common with Maneater Bug. That's cool. I'm sure they'd be good friends, talking about Kaki and Maneater Bug. Oh, that'd be cute. I think Grin's just underwhelming. Both of these cards fall out of favor as soon as we get Grapha. But for the time, they're okay. Next up, Fusion Devourer. This card is weird. I think it's a beholder. Like, you can see the mouth peeking out at the bottom, and then it's got, like, faces where the eyes stalks should be. Maybe it's not a beholder. It's got a weird tomb, looks like it's coming out of. Anyway, Dark Attribute, level 4, Fiend effect. When this card battles a fusion monster, the attack of the fusion monster becomes 0 during the damage step only. 1400 attack, 1200 defense. This is an anime card. It's that level of situational utility. And it's just really bad. He looks reminiscent of the Hex-Sealed Fusions. Oh. Fusion Devourer is perfect against Jaden. Yeah. Anime card. I don't think it's even worth side decking. And I don't think it's even worth side decking in the event that you're already playing a Tomato Toolbox in your deck at the time. If he had a big eye, he'd be 100% a beholder. That's fair. He does have some eyes peeking out from under the faces. We'll say slight inspiration. So, I want to point out these 3 cards are not hand traps in the contemporary sense because they cannot be activated during either player's turn. It doesn't explicitly say it on the card, and I don't think that they have had errata. This is the most recent version of the card. These are pseudo hand traps. Still a lot of good utility, but during your turn only. And there's a whole bunch of cards like this. Think of like your field spell searchers like Destroyer-saurus or Gravekeeper's Commandant. There's other options like Silent Strider and Noisy Gnat to modulate levels. There's a lot of effects that activate from the hand and cause the card to be either sent to the graveyard or discarded to the graveyard, or sometimes banished directly from hand, or sometimes it sends it to the field. But anyway, not quick effects. Keep that in mind. Electric Virus is level 3, Light Attribute, Thunder effect. You can discard this card to the graveyard, then target one machine or dragon-type monster your opponent controls. Take control of that target until the end phase. 1000 attack, 1000 defense. I think this is actually searchable in Thunder decks with Thunder Seahorse, I believe. Let me check that. Okay. Add 1 level for... it's not actually searchable because it's level 3, not level 4. Darn. Scratch that, not searchable. So I know that this card has seen play when you're predominantly going up against, you know, machines or dragons. So the formats I'm thinking of are like Geargia format, Machina format, Gadget formats. In terms of dragons, probably Dragon Rulers comes to mind. I'm thinking, man, stealing your opponent's Dark Armed Dragon with this would be really sweet. Dragons are controllable by electricity, but not thunder monsters. I don't know the lore. I don't know the logic behind it. If this was a quick effect, this card would easily be worth considering today. That goes for all 3. Next up, Puppet Plant. Hey, it's my avatar. Earth Attribute, level 3, Plant effect. You can discard this card to the graveyard, then target one warrior or spellcaster type monster your opponent controls. Take control of that target until the end phase. 1000 attack, 1000 defense. This is not a good Lone Fire Blossom target, even though it's a plant. So, guess this one's not as searchable either. But you play it for the same reason. Thinking about spellcaster / warrior formats, well, we got lots of different hero decks. We got prophecy. We got a lot of different options. To be honest, there's a lot of different spellcaster and warrior eras in the game. And finally, we round off the trio with Marionette Might. I love the artwork. It is sinister in all the right ways. Dark Attribute, level 3, Insect effect. You can discard this card to the graveyard, then target one fiend or zombie monster your opponent controls. Take control of that target until the end phase. 1000 attack, 1000 defense. Zombies are always in the background somewhere. I think it's, like Zombie Master and Mizuki and Gozuki and Plague Spreader. Zombies just have some really good tools. That means that whenever a zombie archetype pops up, it's got a lot of inherent support already. Electric Virus was played in toss format since it could counter Orchist and trigger Thunder Dragons. Ooh, that's awesome. Now for an actual hand trap. We have DD Crow. Dark Attribute, level 1, Wing Beast effect. Quick effect. You can discard this card to the graveyard, then target one card in your opponent's graveyard, banish that target. 100 attack, 100 defense. Arguably replaced by Dimension Shifter, but still great utility from DD Crow. Marionette Might, the one that everyone knows for countering Unchained. Guys saw some side deck play against Unchained. Oh, that's another good option. But yeah, I think Crow's worth considering today. There are other graveyard disruption hand traps in the niche, but I think Crow is, evergreen utility. Next up, we got a whole cycle of level 7 reptiles. They all do the same thing, but they're attribute shifted. So, first up is Silent Abyss. Water attribute, level 7, reptile, effect. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, destroy all face down and non-water monsters. 2000 attack, 1500 defense. Crow's the most generic since it can hit spells and traps as well. That's true. I think I'm going to go over all 6 before I give any thoughts about them. But these cards are weird. I like that they're reptile at least. Next up is Firestorm Prominence. Fire attribute, level 7, reptile effect. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, destroy all face down and non-fire monsters. 2000 attack, 1500 defense. Next up is Raging Earth. Earth attribute, level 7, reptile effect. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, destroy all face down and non-earth monsters. 2000 attack, 1500 defense. Destruction Cyclone. Wind attribute, level 7, reptile effect. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, destroy all face down and non-wind type monsters. 2000 attack, 1500 defense. Radiant Spirit. Light attribute, level 7, reptile effect. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, destroy all face down and non-light monsters. 2000 attack, 1500 defense. And finally, Umbral Soul. Dark attribute, level 7, reptile, effect. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, destroy all face down and non-dark monsters. 2000 attack, 1500 defense. Whew. These cards give me a similar vibe to the Barrier statues. Yeah, it's like they wanted to make some full attribute cycles and didn't really know what to do with them. I know 6 Samurai are a full attribute cycle, and 6 Samurai are great. Crystal Beasts are a full attribute cycle, I believe, too. I don't remember. Are there light and dark Crystal Beasts? Reptiles do really need more love in Yu-Gi-Oh! The problem is Snake Rain means all future reptiles need to be balanced into the dirt. I just want to point out that reptiles actually have a decent amount of support already. They got their own Icarus attack with offerings to the snake deity. They got their own Universal Searcher with King of the Feral Imps. They got special summon from the deck with damage equals reptile, which I like. They got some pretty decent cards in their niche, like Gentlemander and Kage Tokage. There's a lot of good reptiles in the game. I feel like they get a bad rap. There's enough that you can work with. I'd say that for reptiles. I swear either Firestorm Prominence or Raging Earth saw play in the past, but I have no idea how or why. Interesting. I like that you can special summon these. You can special summon them directly from the deck. If you do have damage equals reptile, you have to take 2,000 damage, but I just don't understand when they're useful. They have to be destroyed by battle, but then they got pretty high attack points, making it more difficult for them to be destroyed by battle. They're level 7, so they're not easy to bring out. I guess Silent Abyss at least had the fact that a legendary ocean takes it down to level 6, yeah? I just don't understand. They got to be destroyed by battle. They miss out on hitting one attribute. At least they pop face downs. Also, Silent Abyss doesn't look like a water monster to me. It looks like it's a dark monster. I'm just gonna say they're bad. Next up, Alien Psychic. Dark attribute, level 1, reptile effect. This card is changed to defense position when it is normal summoned or flip summoned. Monsters with 8 counters cannot declare an attack. 200 attack, 100 defense. Is this a good alien card? Maybe. Shutting out your opponent from attacking is a strong effect. I also like how this is similar to Silent Insect, where it shifts itself to defense position when it's summoned. That's nice. It's an okay stun tool, but this thing is just going to get run over, and then they'll attack you with their monsters that have 8 counters. I think it's just bad. Psychic plus Mars is a good lockdown. Reptiles have plenty of support, but they still don't have an archetype that can take advantage of it all. A lot of them barely stand up to other modern decks. Case in point, aliens, yeah. Man, I'm going to make aliens work. I'm going to find when they peaked, figure out what format that is, and then build a working alien deck one day. Moving on to our 2 rituals for the set, and then you got 3 fusions. First up is Lycanthrope. Earth attribute, level 6, Beast Warrior, ritual effect. This card can only be ritual summoned with the ritual spell card Synthesis Spell. That's a lie. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each normal monster in your graveyard. 2400 attack, 1800 defense. There's probably a gimmick where you fill your graveyard with lots of level 1 normal monsters off of advanced ritual art, but that's 6 normal monsters to do 1200 damage when this card is already inflicting battle damage. That's not much of a payoff, and you gotta run a lot of bricks for it. Getting this card to deal significant damage is actually really hard. It's only 200 per normal. That's a low number. Sadly, I think aliens peaked in Duel Links. Don't say that. I like that they're pushing normal monsters, but I don't think they're doing it quite the right way. Next is it is really hard to say because it's not. This is the only card in the game that has this particular U with that diacritic mark. Chulane the Awakened. Light attribute level 4, warrior ritual effect. This card can only be ritual summoned with the ritual spell card Emblem of Awakening, that is a lie. Once per turn, you can remove from play one normal monster from your graveyard. This card gains attack equal to the normal monster's attack until the standby phase of your next turn. At least it works during your opponent's turn. 500 attack, 1000 defense. So at best, assuming you use the Emblem of Awakening ritual spells so that you can go over level 4, you send a Blue Eyes to your graveyard. This card could temporarily gain 3000 attack and be a 3500 beat stick. Realistically, if you're using Advanced Ritual Art and using a level 4, for instance, this card would be 2400 attack off of your ritual summon, but you'd still be going -1. I pronounce his name. I believe his name is pronounced Lane. Okay. Yeah, the name is Irish. It's a mythological character, which is interesting. But when I saw this card, that's not what I thought. What I thought immediately was Serial Experiments Lane. And you can see it with the asymmetric hair on one side. You can see it in the face, the style. And its name is Lane. This is most likely a coincidence, but it's a crazy coincidence. I don't know. Maybe it rhymes like poetry or reincarnation or something. Or maybe John Konami really is a big fan of Serial Experiments Lane. I am. That's uncanny. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to the card. I think we just put them together. That they're both bad, but not very bad. I like that they're trying something different, and I like that they're working with the ritual mechanic. Results, your mileage may vary. Next up, Elemental Hero Air Neos. What do you mean this card got redacted? So the card's unlimited. Did it get errata or something? It did not get significant errata. It got the hero name change, which is fine. That's expected. They changed the word fusion to extra deck in its text. And that's it. Why is this card redacted? Okay, some of the prevailing theories are that the artwork looks so similar to a superhero from a Japanese media property. Maybe? Konami is in a legal dispute with the original artist who drew the artwork? So no one knows why this card has not been reprinted? What is the story? So they'll never reprint Air Neos because of a lawsuit? That's Ravendactyl, a literal design mistake. It was deemed so similar to a comic character Ravendactyl, and so they dropped it from all future hero art, and we only found out about it in the past year. There was a ton of videos about it a few months ago. Why can't they just redraw the art? Recently, it was revealed that when Air Neos was shown off, a comic artist said it looked too much like his character Ravendactyl and asked for Air Neos to not be used. Konami got sued by a comic book creator since he thought it looked so similar. What does Ravendactyl look like? I don't even see it. Okay, I sort of see it. I'd just redraw the artwork. Yeah, I think this is a weird controversy. Oh well. I guess we're just going to treat it like it exists, though. Elemental Hero Air Neos? I really thought it was because the card was cheesy, to be honest, but we'll get to that. Elemental Hero Air Neos, Wind Attribute, Level 7, Warrior Fusion Effect. Materials are Elemental Hero Neos and Neo-Spacian Air Hummingbird. This card can only be special summoned from the Fusion deck by returning the above cards you control to the deck. You do not use Polymerization. While your life points are lower than your opponent's, this card gains attack equal to the difference. This card returns to the Fusion deck during the end phase. Did I read that right? While your life points are lower than your opponent's. Is there a way to quickly drop your life points? I guess you get Wall of Revealing Light will do it. There's some cheese strategy that you can do with it. It has counter synergy with hummingbirds. Yeah, that's funny. It's crazy how niche Ravendactyl is. The only reason anyone will ever know him is because of the Air Neos debacle. Oh, that's sad. The card will likely never get a reprint, and it's why copies are still incredibly costly. I gotta find my copy then. I guess we put in the design mistake, but only for the artwork. What can you even do? Pay half your life points? Gain 4,000 attack points? Actually, that is a lot of attack points. We'll move on. Next up, Elemental Hero Grand Neos. Earth Attribute, Level 7, Warrior Fusion Effect. Materials are Elemental Hero Neos and Neo-Spacian Grand Mole. Must first be special summoned from your extra deck by shuffling the above cards you control into the deck. You do not use Polymerization. Once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls, return that target to the hand. During the end phase, shuffle this card into the extra deck. 2,500 attack, 2,000 defense. It is targeting, but it is non-destruction removal. That's not bad. You can get this card out relatively easily. And Grand Mole's not really a detriment to your deck. I mean, Grand Mole's nowhere near as good as it used to be, but it's not a bad Neo-Spacian. I think with all the new Neos support, you might actually play Grand Neos. There was a deck that could have used Air Neos last year in the World Championship because of a newish card that summons a Neos fusion for free. Would have been funny if Konami had to acknowledge it. That would be fantastic. But yeah, just getting him out for free. You get a bit of disruption. I think that's worth considering today. Next up, Elemental Hero Glow Neos. Light attribute, level 7, warrior fusion effect. Materials are Elemental Hero Neos and Neo-Spacian Glow Moss. Must first be special summoned from your extra deck by shuffling the above cards you control into the deck. You do not use polymerization. During the end phase, shuffle this card into the extra deck. Once per turn, during your main phase, you can target one face-up card your opponent controls, destroy that target. Then apply the effect based on its type. Monster. This card cannot attack this turn. Spell. This card can attack your opponent directly this turn. Trap. Change this card to defense position. 2,500 attack, 2,000 defense. So this is targeting destruction, but it can hit more things. But it can only hit face-up speller traps. Is this worth an extra deck slot, I guess, is the question. Maybe? You only get 15. That's the hardest part, is that the extra deck is just so small. Unlimited extra deck, easily you'd play this in Neos decks, but it is weird that if you pop a spell you get to attack directly, you actually benefit from popping a spell. I guess they think it's not going to happen that often. Feels very bad. I think we'll put him here. Maybe? I don't know. Popping a field spell sounds pretty likely, to be honest. Gotta hand it to Neos. He looks cool no matter who he contacts with. Yeah? Well, maybe not Brave Neos. No, Neos Knight. I think Neos Knight is the goofy one from the Bonds Super Polymerization Bonds Beyond Time movie. Next up, Ancient Rules. Normal spell. Special summon one level 5 or higher normal monster from your hand. That's it. Hey, it's a reference to the anime, how they just special summon monsters. They're just playing with the ancient rules, guys. They're not cheating. I like the idea, but I don't think that there's a deck that ever uses this effectively. Even when we get Gemini monsters, like high-level Gemini monsters, think Gigaplant or Ill Blood or Doom Shaman, I don't think Gemini monsters are treated as normal monsters in the hand. I think it's just in the graveyard, right? Well, let me check. A lot of looking up things in this stream. Yeah, weirdly Gemini monsters are not normal monsters in hand, only in graveyard or on the field before they're summoned again. So no, Ancient Rules does not work with Gemini monsters. Almost nothing works with Gemini monsters because they're just so weird. They're a baffling decision, I think. This was peak of normal monster support for almost a decade. I don't know about that. We get Summoner's Art pretty soon, and Summoner's Art is actually really decent in a lot of different applications because of pendulum monsters, normal pendulum monsters. Is art a reference to how old Japanese card layout? Oh, it might be. Where it's got the text on one side and then like the stats on the other. Oh, that'd be cute. I just don't see an application for this card for a while. Why aren't they always treated as normal unless double summoned? They can write that on the cards, can't they? Yeah. It is so frustrating because there's a whole bunch of cards that would make Geminis more playable. And sometimes they are treated as normal monsters. Like if you use Dragon Shrine, send a dragon type Gemini. When it gets to the graveyard, it's a normal monster, so it is a normal monster. Then you get to send another dragon with Dragon Shrine. But that's super niche. I don't know. Geminis are maybe a design mistake in general. They made Dragon Spirit of white normal in hand and gave it and grave so that it would work with this card specifically. Oh, that's cute. For the lore. I mean, it's got a picture of Wattail Dragon? It might be Blue Eyes White Dragon. It might be Wattail, though. Important, capturing the Wattail Dragon is forbidden by the ancient rules and is a level 6 offensive, the minimum sentence of which is imprisonment for no less than 2,500 heliocycles. Ancient rules can also work for Neos. Oh, that's not a bad idea. Neos is hard to get out. Okay. We'll bump it up. Or bump it down. It's just Blue Eyes. I don't think Wattail is out yet. Yeah, Wattail is definitely not out yet. It's foreshadowing, guys. Next up, Dark World Dealings. Normal spell. Each player draws one card, then each player discards one card. This card is never dead. You can activate it with no cards in hand because you draw the card first. Doesn't matter what your opponent's got in hand because they draw the card first. On the surface, this card looks pretty bad because you're giving your opponent the benefit of card selection. But in Archetype, this card's really good. But even outside of Archetype, there's a lot of decks that benefit from Dark World Dealings for graveyard setup, draw acceleration. I'm not just talking about Fableds or Danger, just in general. Sometimes you just want to run Dark World Dealings, make your deck a little bit faster. Another playground card in my experience. Exodia decks can also use it, yeah. I think it's worth considering today. Playing Dealings in the Mirror is a death sentence? Yep. Next up, Neos Force. Equip spell. Equip only to Elemental Hero Neos. Jaden, why do all your equip spells only designate one target? It makes them so much worse. Aster's equip spell can be into any Destiny hero, but Jaden, yours are special. It gains 800 attack. When it destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the original attack of the destroyed monster in the graveyard. During the end phase, shuffle this card into the deck. Why does it do that? Also, it's only Elemental Hero Neos. It's not a fusion monster which lists Elemental Hero Neos as material. I think that this card is super gimmicky. It's interesting that this card exists because this is sort of Elemental Hero Flame Wingman's effect. You're double dipping, Jaden. You're putting it on Neos. 800 attack is fine, but why does it shuffle? Dealings is just really good card design? I wouldn't go that far. So this gives Neos a Flame Wingman effect once, yeah? Neos, why is your special ability the same as Flame Wingman's? It's meme of copying off of Mr. Bean copying homework. I just don't understand why it shuffles itself. Next up, Legendary Ebon Steed. Equip spell. Equip only to a 6 samurai monster. It gains 200 attack and defense. If it would be destroyed, destroy this card instead. I think that this is underwhelming. That is such a minor stat gain. Like, think about old school field spells. They gave you 300 attack and defense. It is so marginal. I guess you hit certain breakpoints. You get up to 2,000 attack, 2,300 attack, 2,700 attack, 1,900 attack. It is good for certain breakpoints. I'll give you that. And I guess you can redirect your destruction effect twice and end up popping Legendary Ebon Steed instead of your monster? This card just does very little. Awesome card, the most mid effect possible. Speaking of bad equip spells, I think we just put it in bad. And this card's legendary. Next up, A-Cell Scatterburst. Quick play spell. Select one face-up alien monster you control. Destroy it and distribute new A counters equal to its level among your opponent's face-up monsters. So you go -2, and reasonably you're getting up to like 4 A counters. But you're going -2. I think we wait until we get offerings to the Snake Deity, because that card's significantly better. It's just so hard to accumulate A counters. I'm a little sad that this doesn't... It does destroy, which could be nice. Supply Squad. That's a joke. Scatterburst wasn't bad in Archetype at the time. There's just way better A counter generators now. Yep. Scatterburst is pretty cool if you can cheat out a big alien. Just run old reliable Axe of Despair. Scatterburst is the only really good if the alien was going to die already. Yeah, that's what I think. Thank you, Majestic Star Duelist. And I don't think it's really good. When we get Planet Pollutant Virus, which just wipes your opponent board and then starts accumulating A counters, that card's worth, tributing an alien monster, but I don't think Scatterburst is. If you want to be generous, I'll put it here. But I think it deserves to be here. Next up, Twister. Quick play spell. Pay 500 life points, then target one face-up spell / trap on the field. Destroy that target. MST's at 1. We gotta print some variants for it. We got Mystical Wind Typhoon, we got Twister. People played it, because what other choices do you have? It's definitely more balanced than Mystical Space Typhoon. Can't hit face downs. And cost life points, but, It's very mid. But saw play because you didn't have many options. Next up, Synthesis Spell. Ritual spell. This card is used to ritual summon Lycanthrope. You must also tribute monsters whose total level equals 6 or more from your hand or field. We're just going to put you right next to your Lycanthrope. Always thought that the life point cost on Twister was unneeded. Twister was honestly still worth considering as an extra spell/trap removal option until Cosmic Cyclone? I don't know if I'd go that far. What about Night Beam? Night Beam has sort of utility over. I don't know. We'll think about it. Next up, the Emblem of Awakening, ritual spell. This card is used to ritual summon Kulane the Awakened. You must also tribute monsters whose total level equal 4 or more on the field or in your hand. Just put it next to you. I think the argument for Twister over Night Beam was that Twister is a quick play. That is true. Night Beam is a lot better than Twister in my opinion, from Malachite. Cool lane. Can't believe Konami ripped off Fire Emblem. Who makes Fire Emblem? Is that produced by Konami? I don't think it is. Next up, ARA, Advanced Ritual Art. Ritual spell. This card is used to ritual summon any one ritual monster. That is weirdly specific card text. I guess because some ritual spell cards can ritual summon multiple monsters at the same time. I think that only happens in Necros, though. You must also send normal monsters from your deck to the graveyard whose total level equal the level of that ritual monster. So it's got to be exact. There's a lot of funny gimmicks that you can do with ARA. I think the funniest is probably with Exodios, the Ultimate Forbidden Lord. You bring him out, you activate Advanced Ritual Art, you send 10 level 1 normal monsters from your deck to your graveyard, boost up your Exodios, and then you get Zeal Gygus out. Really good card. Still worth considering? I think so. Any ritual deck. Oop, come back. Not that high. ARA, the best ritual spell ever, generally speaking at least, yeah. I'm wondering what you play ARA in. A lot of ritual decks. You're adding a brick is the only problem. Some decks can withstand it. Gemini monsters are not treated as normal monsters in the deck, so ARA doesn't work for them either. Man, Gemini monsters are frustrating for me. And only me, because I see a little bit of potential, but it's not much. Remove this big downside of rituals, which is card disadvantage. Yeah, partially. Advanced Ritual Art is still a -1 is the problem. Now, if you use Advanced Ritual Art and could special summon the ritual from the deck, that'd be broken. That'd be amazing. But you're still running bricks is the problem. Next up, controversial card. Because I don't think this card is particularly good, but a lot of people will argue that it is. Card Trader is a continuous spell. Once per turn during your standby phase, you can shuffle one card from your hand into the deck, draw one card. So this is virtual card advantage by card selection. I guess if you really want to be nice, you could also say, oh, I'm shuffling my Malicious back. That's a good benefit. Card Trader is a good playground card. ARA is specifically really good in Magic-y. A duelist named Red Mage has pulled off hundreds of different variants that can stand up to almost any rogue deck. Ooh. And ARA is the centerpiece in many of those builds. Okay. Standing up to any rogue deck, though. That's not exactly the highest bar to pass. I don't like Card Trader, but in slow formats, I can see this card being useful. I can also see this card being useful if you're running Haman, Lord of Striking Thunder, I guess. It's a decent continuous spell card, I'll give you that. Lighten the Load and Card Trader sort of do the same thing. I like Lighten the Load better, but that might just be me. I guess this card is objectively better than Lighten the Load. I'll give you that. Card Trader would be okay if Yu-Gi-Oh! Still had draft formats. I think the card, well, right now, it's just way too slow for the game. But even then, it's pretty slow. You gotta wait a whole round before it does anything. And even then, if you draw a card that you already like and your hand is already good, then it does literally nothing then too. Card Trader and Tilted Try work perfectly together. They made a better Card Trader called Card Scanner. Like, it would be alright in a battle pack style format. I can agree with that. Next up, Xian's Castle of Mist. Field spell. When a 6 samurai monster is attacked, the attacking monster loses 500 attack during damage calculation only. This is very interesting. I like this card in theory. It's not just Necro Valley, which gives all your 6 samurai monsters 500 attack. That'd be really strong. Necro Valley is a little bit overtuned, but as a result, all the Gravekeeper monsters are undertuned in terms of attack and defense, just because Necro Valley is so strong. It sort of reminds me of Skyscraper, where it gives you a benefit, but not all the time. I just don't think it's quite where it needs to be. You can't attack over anything with Xian's Castle of Mist. But maybe that's not a big concern when you got Zanji. Worse than Skyscraper? Yeah. I don't think you play it in an archetype. Which is weird because it's pretty searchable. You know, field spell. Would other archetypes like to have it? Maybe? But I think it's mostly just filler. Speaking of Skyscraper, we got Skyscraper 2, Hero City. Field spell. Once per turn during your main phase, if you control this card, you can target one elemental hero monster in your graveyard that was destroyed by battle and sent there, special summon that target. I am so glad that this card doesn't say destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard this turn. Like, what is it? The Forgiving Maiden and Lady Panther, I believe, that get your, and Return of the Doomed, that get your monsters back from the graveyard, but only when they're destroyed by battle during your turn. Skyscraper 2 is way more reasonable, but you also gotta track your graveyard and remember what got destroyed by battle when, and if it had been revived and then destroyed again. So good in hero beat decks, yeah. If Skyscraper was good, why isn't there a Skyscraper 2? Imagine Skyscraper and Xian's Castle at the same time. Definitely meta at one point. Used it to keep bringing Stratos back every turn. Oh man, that is dirty. Speaking of Stratos, well, we'll get there when we get there. Put you very high. Oh, that's a really good point. You can find it late and still bring back something that got run over earlier, yeah. I bet this card caused a lot of arguments, though. Next up, Change of Hero Reflector Ray. Normal Trap. When an elemental hero fusion monster you control is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the original level times 300. Look closely at the artwork. That's an elemental hero monster, but it's Sparkman. And Sparkman's not a fusion monster. Why did they choose Sparkman for this? Like, you had a dozen different elemental hero fusion monsters you could have chose, but you chose Sparkman. I feel like this art was recycled from something. In terms of actual effect, though, that could reasonably inflict 2,000 damage to your opponent. That's a pretty decent amount of damage off of one card. Thank God it's not just for Sparkman. Yep. But why is he there? And it looks like manga art, yeah. It is a lot harder that it is only fusion monsters, though. The bar's a little bit higher. I think we're just going to put you in filler. I think Solar Ray does sort of the same thing, but by, burning for a lot of damage, but that card scales with the number of light monsters you control, and does have a pretty high ceiling, to be honest, but maybe Reflector Ray is a reference to Solar Ray? And that's why they chose Sparkman, because he's light? Sort of looks like Yellow Luster's shield, too. Next up, Hero Metal. We already had Hero Ring. More Hero Jewelry. Normal Trap. When this set card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, shuffle this card into the owner's deck, then draw one card. I really dislike this trend of trap cards that you wait for your opponent to blow up and then get an effect. For one thing, they're always underwhelming in terms of what they actually do. I know Wonder Garage you can blow up yourself, but in terms of like Dark Coffin or Kozaki's self-destruct button, where they have mediocre effects, Hero Metal is just worse Jar of Greed all the time, because most of the time this card is dead. But even when it is live, it shuffles itself back into the deck so that it can be dead again, which is weird. Why do they make just worse Jar of Greed? Why not make better Jar of Greed, like Legacy of Yatagarasu? It's giving My Hero. Yeah, I get the My Hero vibes. It's weird how they got so many of these with so little spell/trap destruction at the time. That is really true. Man, they are really afraid of that one MST. Hey, it's the fake hero again. Glad he's wearing award. Yeah, glad he's earning awards. If only the award did anything. There are traps that have the same effect now, but also have an effect to actually use as a trap. Yeah. If they were like Dark Worlds where they gained an additional effect if they were destroyed by your opponent's card effect, then we'd be talking. And they'd be better design cards. I know Waking the Dragons is probably the only one of these cards that's useful, but that's because the card is crazy strong in the right situation. Hero Metal is not good, though. Next up, Return of the Six Samurai. Normal Trap. Target one Six Samurai monster in your graveyard. Special summon that target. Destroy it during the end phase of this turn. And keep in mind the 6 samurais can, jump into the line of fire for each other. So you don't have to destroy the one that you got back if you don't want to. It's just a 6 samurai monster, so you could get back Grandmaster. I totally understand why Great Shogun Shien is not named 6 samurai, because this card would be ridiculous with Great Shogun Shien, especially if you then pop one of your smaller 6 samurai monsters to protect it. This card is basically Archfiend's Roar, but type shifted to warrior, or archetype shifted to 6 samurai, I guess is even more accurate. Hero Metal is a non-hero hero card. Return seems really good for the time. Oh yeah, it's all play. There's an even better 6 samurai revival card when we get backs to the wall, but that card is all in. Next up, Eliminating the League. I believe that this card is a direct sequel to League of Uniform Nomenclature. Like, that card had Ojamas grouping together, and now this card has the same Ojama yellows. And they're similar in name. Maybe it's a coincidence. Normal trap, discard 1 spell card. Destroy 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Check your opponent's hand, and all cards in their hand with the same name are destroyed, as the destroyed card are sent to the graveyard. Okay. Had to read it correctly. So at least it sends from hand. There are other effects that sort of do this, like Chain Destruction, for instance. Karma Cut does this. I think this card might just be worse than Karma Cut. You do get to look at your opponent's hand, though. I like the artwork. Next up, Flashbang. Normal trap. Activate only after damage calculation when a monster your opponent controls made a direct attack. It is now the end phase of this turn. I think the first point of comparison between Flashbang is Negate Attack, which just ends the battle phase. This ends the entire turn, which might be better, but you did have to take direct damage. I guess this card hard counters Watts, maybe, because they attack directly. It sounds useful, but I think like Neko Mane King does this better, although the condition's a lot more difficult on Neko Mane King. Negate Attack is also a counter trap, making it hard to interact with. Thank you, Jace. I agree with that. I think it's just bad. Oh no, my main phase 2. I was going to do so many things during that phase. It's really good if your opponent sets cards in main phase 2. Okay. Or if they go into main phase 2 after battle and like bring out Darkstrike Fighter, I guess. And then start popping their cards with Darkstrike Fighter. Flashbang needs a stun card. Or Flashbang reads as a stun card. It wants you to not run monsters. Yeah, but not running monsters. Oof. Or at least encourage not leaving any on the field. Yeah, that's not a good plan, though. Plus if you're not running monsters, why aren't you running Threatening Roar or Wabaku or something a little better? I think the card's just a trap. We'll leave it at that. Next up, the Transmigration Prophecy. Normal trap. Target 2 cards in the graveyards. Shuffle those targets into the decks. So, If it's not clear, you can choose one from yours and one from your opponent's to shuffle into the decks, or two from yours, or two from your opponent's. It's got to be exactly two. But pretty flexible in terms of the card. And this card is useful for recycling your floater monsters, disrupting your opponent's strategy, like they target a monster in their graveyard for revival, you activate the Transmigration Prophecy, their effect fizzles. That's pretty good. This card was super playable for a while. Oh yeah, this card was meta. It was in a lot of different strategies. I think it was even on the FNL list for a while. I want to say it went to 1. Okay, so it's goes to 2 in September 2007, then goes to 1 in October of 2014, and then it becomes unbanned. So the card was not just playable, it was widely played. Zombies love this card. Konami was unnecessarily scared of the card looping itself. Oh, that's so slow. It's 1/5 of Jar of Avarice? It's a funny design mistake because it can shuffle other copies of itself. No, I'm dumb. It's just DD Crow. I don't think it's a design mistake. An inflated price. Next up, Anti-Fusion Device. Normal trap. Destroy one face-up fusion monster on the field. This is just simple 1-for-1 removal. It's just a little too specific to be useful, I think. It's a good effect. You don't see a lot of 1-for-1 removal outside of like trap holes. I just don't think there's ever been the combination of a tier 0 fusion deck where the game is slow enough to play trap cards. Definitely good on release, if not a bit higher. I don't know if I'd put it there. I think this card just never quite meshed with the metagame. Well, except good on release. It's also weird to me that it's just got like the polymerization artwork inside the sphere. I guess that's how you represent fusion in general. So non-fusion area saw play, but I don't ever remember anti-fusion device seeing play. You might as well just play compulsory evacuation device. Oh, Malachite, Transmigration Prophecy was meta. It was in a lot of decks. Anti-fusion destroying means its application is very limited since most good fusion decks have fusions that float. Yep. We'll knock it down to filler. Speaking of, metagames just not quite meshing with a card, we get Ritual Sealing, Normal Trap, destroy one face-up ritual monster on the field. Something about this card is really appealing to me. I like this card a lot better than Anti-Fusion Device, and I think it's the artwork. It's just poof, and then the ritual monster's gone. Maybe it's the blue. Like, they took the actual ritual monster card and just wrapped it up in some paper and then tied it off with some string, and then poof, it's gone. Actually saw play against Necros? Oh, that's crazy. I guess Necros were tier 0. Next up, Birthright. Continuous Trap. Activate this card by targeting one normal monster in your graveyard. Special summon that target in face-up attack position. When this card leaves the field, destroy that monster. When that monster leaves the field, destroy this card. Slow clap. Or small clap. They finally got it. They finally fixed the Call of the Haunted problem. This triggers if it leaves the field by any means. So if you tribute summon using it as a tribute, Birthright doesn't remain on the field like Call of the Haunted does. There's also other ways that Call of the Haunted just gets stuck on the field. So they fixed it with Birthright. It's weird that there's like 4 different normal monster only revival cards. Because we got Soul Resurrection, which does about the same thing, but I believe Soul Resurrection is defense mode. We get Swing of Memories, which is faster, but it destroys it. And we get Silent Doom, which is also in defense mode, but I think you get to keep your normal monster with Silent Doom. Ah, Call of the Haunted is still on the list? Yep. Call of the Haunted's at 1 for a long time. I don't think Fossil Excavation was good. And this one is... well, it's better than Fossil Excavation. It's just you don't have great normal monster targets for Birthright. It's crazy. They're trying to push the normal monsters, but they're just scared that normal monsters are going to be too strong. Next up, Swift Samurai Storm. Continuous Trap. Each turn after the first time a 6 Samurai monster you control battles, all 6 Samurai monsters you control gain 300 attack until the end of this turn. Why is it so weird? So you have to attack with the 6 Samurai, and then all your other 6 Samurai monsters will gain 300 attack. But it only triggers once. It doesn't give all your monsters increasingly more attack. The A forces is better than Swift Samurai Storm? Okay. It's just a really marginal effect. Unless I'm reading it wrong and you can snowball with this card, but I don't think you can. First time 6 Samurai monster you control battles. If I'm a bit silly, if you attack 5 times and your last monster ends up gaining 1200 attack points. Be hard to track, though. Oh, and one of your 6 samurais could potentially attack twice, too. Next up, Cloak and Dagger. And it is weird censorship on this one. I'm not saying it's necessarily bad, but they took the crosshairs out of the artwork. It's still ominous, but it's ominous in a different way. It's more like, the outside world is receding, and then your focus, your tunnel vision is just on the subject that you're watching, as compared to the OCG artwork where it's obvious that you're looking down a scope at your target for Cloak and Dagger. I don't know which one I prefer. Anyway, Cloak and Dagger, normal trap, not normal trap, continuous trap. Declare one monster card name. If your opponent normal summons, special summons, or flip summons that monsters, face up, remove that monsters and this card from play. It's sort of like Prohibition. You gotta be preemptive. You gotta know what your opponent's playing. But it works on any summon. But it only works once. But if they do special summon multiple monsters with the same name at the same time, then it does work for those. It is mandatory too. Wasn't this card used against cards like Abyss Megalo or Dragon Rulers? The censored one still conveys them being watched. It's not, so it's not that bad, yeah. It does banish too, and that is pretty good. If this did see play against Mermails, that makes sense. The more you know about your opponent, the better this card is. And there are definitely strategies that revolve around a single monster. I can see this card being useful at some point in the game. Next up, Pulling the Rug. Counter Trap. Negate the activation and effect of an effect monster whose effect activated when a monster was normal summoned, even itself, and destroy that effect monster. So what does this hit? Well, it hits Stratos, hits Monarchs, hits Expressroid. It hits a lot of things, but it's very situational. Stratos is shaking in his boots, yeah. By the way, Stratos is the last card in this video. I think when we get, what is it, By Rule of the Emperor in the Monarch structure deck, the one that has Caius, Pulling the Rug's less good. I think it's okay. This was specifically anti-Monarch tech, I believe, yeah. When Perfect Circle Monarchs is a high tier deck, Pulling the Rug's pretty good. But outside of that, I can't see a lot of utility. Maybe in your Counter Fairy, in the side deck specifically, I could see that too. I'm just wondering, like, Forced Back does most of the same thing? 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, I guess. Now, the OCG got a structure deck that we didn't get, but we still got the cards that were exclusive to the structure deck, specifically in this pack. And this is a trend that goes for OCG imports in the future. This is why eventually we get a new Parshaf / Sanctuary in the Sky structure deck eventually, is because the structure decks revolve in a cycle, and the OCG got this one, and then we get the rebrand of it much later. Anyway, Neo-Spacian, the Sky Paladin. Line attribute, level 7, fairy effect. You can special summon this card from your hand by tributing 1 Air Knight Parshath. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. If this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, draw 1 card. All that is pretty much copy-pasted from Air Knight Parshath. While the Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field and your life points are higher than your opponent's, this card gains attack / defense equal to the difference in your life points. 2300 attack, 2000 defense. I believe that last effect is the Agent of War Mars's effect, but I'm not perfectly certain on that. This is continuing our trend of monster evolution. Like we got in the Zombie Madness structure deck, we got Vampire Genesis. We got Red Eyes Darkness Dragon, evolved form of Red Eyes Black Dragon. We got Exod Master of the Garod, which is an evolved form of the Sphinxes of all things. I don't like that specifically because it's a little hard to get them out. I also think that Air Knight Parshaf is way past his heyday at this point. Good in GOAT, but I think it's too hard to bring out. I really wish boss monsters functioned differently in the structure decks. But right now they just feel like too expensive to get out for marginal upside over their predecessor. At least Vampire Lord kept coming back. Vampire Genesis gets destroyed and then you're sad. And it banishes Vampire Lord, so you can't even get Vampire Lord back. Who designed that card? Next up, Meltiel, Sage of the Sky. Light attribute, level 4, fairy effect. Each time a counter trap card is activated, immediately after it resolves, gain 1,000 life points. And if you do, if the Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field, destroy one card your opponent controls. 1,600 attack, 1,200 defense. Sanctuary in the Sky is searchable with terraforming, and gets more searchable with the Zera monster that comes out pretty soon. Zera Herald of Heaven, I want to say is the name of it. But the problem is the Sanctuary in the Sky doesn't really do much on its own. Popping a card every time your counter trap resolves is really good. I'm not going to argue that point. Is it as good as Bountiful Artemis? I don't think so. But it's not a bad effect, it's just that the condition might be a little bit too awkward for most decks to play. I think in the Counter Fairy deck, you can still bring it out with Valhalla. That's true. Do you pop multiple if you chain counter traps? Why are you chaining counter traps? I think all the counter trap fairies have similar problem in that they have low stats and need Sanctuary in the Sky for max value. I don't know if you need max value though. The life point gain can offset the cost of some counter traps, but it's still underwhelming. Yeah. Guiding Ariadne offsets all the cost of counter traps. Just saying. When we get Guiding Ariadne. I guess it means that you could activate more Solemn Scolding, more Solemn Warnings. Those aren't bad. But it doesn't really do much to help with Solemn Judgment. Next, Harvest Angel of Wisdom. Light attribute, level 4, fairy effect. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can target one counter trap in your graveyard, add it to your hand. 1,800 attack, 1,000 defense. Hey, another light monster with 1,800 attack. I think this is okay. Konami's moving in the direction of, hey, our beat stick monsters 1,800 attack, that's a pretty good standard, but they can start having beneficial effects now. I know we got Skilled Dark Magician ages ago, which technically has an upside, and has 1,900 attack, but baby steps. Counter Trap's not bad. Replacing itself is okay, but most of the time when you want a floater, you want to maintain board presence over getting back a counter trap. And the problem with this card is your opponent sees it, so they can play around the counter trap. This card encourages more counterplay against your counter traps. I don't think we even put it in here. I think it's just bad. Sort of like the alien monster too. 1,800 attack, beneficial effect when destroyed by battle. Next up, Freya, Spirit of Victory. Light attribute level 1. While you control a fairy type monster other than Freya, Spirit of Victory, your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for attacks. All fairy type monsters you control gain 400 attack and defense. Oh, it's a fairy effect, by the way. 100 attack, 100 defense. But it boosts itself to 500, 500, I guess. This is so marginal. I think you might just be better off running the field spell that gives all your light monsters 500 attack and loses 400 defense. Luminous Spark, I believe, is the name of it. I guess you can lock your opponent out of attacking if you have 2 of these. It's so much worse than like Battery Man AA. Even if you get out 3 of these, they're only gaining 1200 additional attack. She is cheerleader for the fairy friends, providing moral support. I wish she was providing moral support from the sidelines. Like, if this was a skill card in speed duels, I still think that it would be underwhelming. If this was a field spell, I still think it would be underwhelming. It just doesn't justify a monster to me. And I know that there's, what is it, Circle of Judgment? Court of Judgment? There is a card specifically to special summon level 2 or lower fairy type monsters from hand, in addition to Valhalla. Still not good, I think. Next up, Nova Summoner. Line attribute, level 4, fairy effect. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 light fairy monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck. If Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field, you can special summon 1 Air Knight Parshaf instead. 1400 attack, 800 defense. I think you run Nova Summoner to get out your Shining Angel to get out what you really want. This card sort of reads like a Warrior Lady of the Wasteland, where it's worse than its Elemental Floater counterpart, but at least this card has a bit of an upside, where you can get out Air Knight Parshaf in that situation. But yeah, this card's fairies actually benefits from Nova Summoner, which is not bad. Next up, Radiant Gerald. What is this thing? Light attribute, level 4. Hey, is that a halo? Did Konami not censor a halo? And wait, are those angelic wings? What's up, Konami? Fairy effect. When this card is sent to the graveyard, except if destroyed by battle, gain 1000 life points if the Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field. 1000 attack, 2000 defense. Doesn't Skullmark Ladybug do this, but easier? Without relying on the Sanctuary in the Sky? I guess it's got a lot of defense points, but it doesn't trigger if it's destroyed by battle. Being able to summon Marshmallow or Honest is great off of Nova Summoner. That is good. I guess you could summon Radiant Gerald off of Nova Summoner too. I think the card's just bad. Next up, Gelen Duo. Light attribute, level 4, fairy effect, cannot be destroyed by battle. If you take any damage, so battle or effect, destroy this face-up card. Oof. This card can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a light fairy monster. 1700 attack, 0 defense. But you probably don't want it in attack mode because then they can attack over it and it pops itself. I guess you put it in defense mode and hope your opponent doesn't have piercing damage. This card is actually hard countered by Air Knight Parshaf of all things. That's funny. The mirror match. Oh no, you're ruined. It's sort of like Spirit Reaper, except Spirit Reaper had a different self-destruct condition that didn't make it die to sparks. And Spirit Reaper had a different benefit where it was ripping cards out of your opponents. It was just Kaiser Seahorse with a little bit of battle protection. It's not Marshmallow. Well, it's on the right track. Now that's how you make a double tribute monster. Well, it's on the right track. It's getting there. I think it can usually live a turn if you set it. I can agree with that. What are you even bringing out with this? What light monster is worth 2 tributes? Is Vanity's King, I think, is a light monster. The idea with this guy is if you have Sanctuary up, you can't be destroyed outside of targeted removal. Sanctuary in the sky protects you from battle damage, at least. Okay, I understand the strategy. I'm still gonna say it's bad, though. Or we'll say it's filler. Would you run this over Kaiser Seahorse? Maybe. Next up, Aegis of Gaia. Continuous trap, gain 3,000 life points. If this face-up card is removed from the field, take 3,000 damage. I think we all know what this card was used for, and I think no one is proud of it. This is a time card. It just gives you life points, and you just run out the timer, and because you have more life points during the end of the phase, you win. I think that's the only legitimate application for this card. I know later, if you wanted to argue, then Aegis of Gaia and like Rainbow Life, because it inflicts damage to you, Rainbow Life would give you another 3,000 life points. 6,000 life points for 2 cards. That's not that bad. But I don't know, I don't see this card seeing play. Like even Arrow Mages, which likes gaining life points, wouldn't play this card because I don't think it's that much of a benefit. Also, there's other ways within Archetype to gain life points in Arrow Mages. I just don't see the home for it. There's a similar card in Magic the Gathering, but it hurts whoever controlled it. You could give it to your opponent and have them take the damage. See Illusions of Grandeur. Ooh. I guess that's a good card to use with Donate. Tower of Babel does that too. Moving on to... what was the next set? I'm not sure what set this is from. That's okay. Infernal Dragon. Dark Attribute, level 4, Dragon Effect. Once per turn, during the end phase, if this card attacked this turn, destroy this card. That's bad. When this card on the field is destroyed and sent to your graveyard, you contribute 1 monster, special summon this card from the graveyard. 2,000 attack, 0 defense. Oh man. Is there something useful that you can do with this? I mean, obviously you get Supply Squad to trigger, and then you could tribute something, so if you had a tribute trigger. Does this card work in Hieratics, maybe? Maybe. but I don't think it's particularly good in Hieratics. This card, by the way. Duelist packs don't make a lot of sense to me, but Zane likes dragons and he likes cyberdarks. I think you could get something cooking. I also don't understand the alternate artwork. All they did is they changed the placement of the tail. And that's it. Very weird. Next up, Ruthless Denial. And we got like a, I don't know, football match maybe? Or maybe it's rugby. Normal spell. Select one monster you control and send it to the graveyard. And send one random card in your opponent's hand to the graveyard. So you're going -1. And it's send, so you're not getting a lot of your triggers. It's not destroy. I don't like this card at all. I don't like what it supports either. Even if you could loop this effect, it's still not good. I guess with Treeborn Frog, Ruthless Denial, you're going +1 every turn and then you're ripping cards out of your opponent's hand, but that's not a good strategy. Next up, Return Soul. Normal trap. Activate only during the end phase. You can return up to 3 monsters destroyed this turn from the graveyard to their owner's decks. Man. We got like a bootleg transmigration prophecy over here. I guess it's up to 3. But you gotta wait till the end phase. They had to be destroyed this turn. I'm going to sneeze. No, I'm not. I just don't see the benefit to this card. Next up, Damage Polarizer. Counter trap. Activate only when an effect that inflicts damage is activated. Negate its activation and effect, and each player draws 1 card. I think you'd rather have Barrel Behind the Door, which reflects the damage back on your opponent and doubles it. If this card just gave you 1 card, it'd be significantly better. But the fact that it's symmetric means that this is most likely 1 for 1 at best. It doesn't destroy the card, so if it's a monster that's inflicting damage, for instance, this is still a -1. So close. Next up, Fusion Guard. Counter trap. Activate only when an effect that inflicts damage is activated. Man, Zane, why you got 2 of these? Negate its activation and effect, and randomly send 1 fusion monster from your fusion deck to the graveyard. I don't know how this card works with the extra deck. Like, hypothetically, if you have more than 1 fusion monster, it's only counting those. But if you only have 1 fusion monster in your extra deck, I guess it's ripping that one. But how is your opponent supposed to know? If you want to be generous, Gale Dogra, 3,000 life points, send a fusion monster from your extra deck to your graveyard. This is cheaper than Gale Dogra. And it negates damage, at least. I just think it's really filler. I like the idea, though. I think using your extra deck as a resource is interesting, but this is not quite how you do it. Technically, we've already covered these 3 cards. I don't know what happened, but I think this is when they were actually released chronologically. I think. Either that or the wiki got revised at some point. Or maybe they were released into different regions at different times. I don't know. Can Fusion Guard be activated when you have no fusion monster in your extra deck? It's mandatory, right? Yeah, it's mandatory. So no, you need a valid target before you can activate Fusion Guard. So, back to these 3 cards and we'll speed through them. Blockman, Earth Attribute, level 4, Rock Effect. You contribute this card, special summon in defense position, a number of block tokens, Rock type, Earth, level 4, 1000 attack, 1500 defense, equal to the number of turns that this card has been face up on the field. These tokens cannot declare an attack, 1000 attack, 1500 defense. Takes forever, doesn't get that many tokens. They can't attack, but they can be tributed, which is decent, and they can be used for synchro material, but the card doesn't have any inherent protection. It's not going to stay on the field with those stats. I think we just put it in bad. But when we get Block Dragon, that's a huge improvement over Blockman. Next up, Treasure Map, Normal Trap. You can only activate this card in response to the activation of an effect that would return this card from the field to the hand, draw 2 cards from your deck, and discard 1 card from your hand. It's just too situational, and it doesn't feel as good as it should. You draw 2 cards. I guess this card gets bounced to hand. So I guess you could discard the treasure map? No, you can't. Just the discard cost makes it a little bit sad. I feel like you could have kept both cards since the card is so situational. Finally, Hero Spirit. Normal trap. During the battle phase, if an elemental hero monster you controlled was destroyed by battle this turn, make the battle damage from one of your opponent's monsters 0. This card is just worse than Karibo, because it's conditional. Requires your elemental hero monsters. And Karibo's searchable. And Karibo's not particularly good. Okay, we're moving on to World Championship 07 promo cards. First up is Spell Striker. Earth Attribute, level 3, Warrior Effect. You can special summon this card from your hand by banishing 1 spell card from your graveyard. This card can attack directly. You take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. 600 attack, 200 defense. I guess the idea is if you leave this guy out after that direct attack, you're not going to take the damage. Which is okay. I think Spell Striker has one very decent application, even today. And that's if you're running Reinforcement of the Army specifically. You activate Reinforcement of the Army, and you have 1 copy of Spell Striker as a target in your deck. As part of a Warrior Toolbox, then you banish the Reinforcement of the Army, special summon Spell Striker. I guess you can attack directly for time if the situation needs it, but that's not bad. You've deck thinned, and you've special summoned a monster from hand. I think that's okay. Rhoda into Spell Striker is a free body worth considering today. Thank you. Did we get to the card that shall not be seen again? I don't know what you're referring to, Common X. If we're talking about Airnails, yep, it was way early in there, and he was way up at the top. Next up, Exploder Dragon. Earth attribute, level 3, dragon effect. If this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, destroy the monster that destroyed it. Neither player takes any battle damage from attacks involving this card. 1000 attack, 0 defense. I think if you're running Mass Dragon for a dragon toolbox, in terms of, you know, a type floater, then Exploder Dragon's not bad in your toolbox as a tool. But I think that's the only reason why it might be okay. The fact that we have Neo-Spacian Grand Mole sorta takes the wind out of Exploder Dragon's sails, in my opinion. Exploder Dragon fits in Cyberdarks too? Interesting. Okay for the time, I think. That's where I'm putting it. It's sort of like Grave Squirmer. I guess it's an upgrade over Grave Squirmer too. Just for completion's sake, I hope they make a card to replace it. Why don't they just change the artwork on Neos? Exploder Dragon was played in Dragon Pile decks for a while. Interesting. What is Dragon Pile? Final video game promo is a doozy. We got Destiny Hero Disc Commander, Dark Attribute, level 1, Warrior effect. When this card is special summoned from the graveyard, draw 2 cards. I guess it could miss the timing. 300 attack, 300 defense. That's not what the card says now, though. Let me pull up the most modern text. And boy, do they do a number on him. A new text is, cannot be special summoned from the graveyard the turn that this card was sent to the graveyard. Ouch. If this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can draw 2 cards. So it no longer misses the timing, which is nice. It's optional too, so you don't have to deck out, I guess. You can only use this effect of Destiny Hero Disc Commander once per duel. 300 attack, 300 defense still. He did not deserve all that. Yeah, I agree. Oh, it's definitely a design mistake. Effect changing errata. Definition of design mistake. That part, no argument. But man. Modern Disc Commander was still used somewhat in Master Duel when Celestial got banned. Interesting. I think hard once per turn might have been enough on Disc Commander. I say that hesitantly. Maybe hard once per turn and the fact that you can't, you know, immediately discard it on your first turn with Destiny draw and go through your deck so quickly. But I think just hard once per turn might have been enough. The once per duel, it's just, is it even worth it at that point? I guess it got played, so fair point. Maybe John Konami got it right and it really did need all that. I find it sad. The once per duel on its own, maybe. The 1 turn later on its own, maybe. At least hard once per turn, but this is beyond unnecessary. Yeah. I still think that Sinister Serpent got it worse, but it's still sad. Even Treeborn Frog got some nerf. They're just passing it to all the level 1s. Okay. And the last card in our video is Elemental Hero Stratos. Look at the nice alternate artwork. Why can't they do this for Air Neos? It'd be so easy. Wind attribute, level 4, warrior effect. When this card is normal or special summoned, you can activate one of these effects. Oh, you can miss the timing too? Destroy spell and traps on the field up to the number of hero monsters you control, except this card. I missed that one time, and everyone in the comments will point it out. So, no, you don't get to instantly pop with Stratos if he's the only one. Other effect. Add one hero monster from your deck to your hand. So this is your hero searcher, your destiny heroes, your evil heroes, your elemental heroes, your vision heroes. I don't think we ever got main deck masked heroes, but the manga had main deck masked heroes. Anyway, Stratos searches them all. It's not just meta at one point. I think Stratos is worth considering today. It's just so splashable. Main deck masked heroes just got released. Okay, that's fair. Emergency Call on Wheels, it's better than E-Call. We actually have 2 main deck masks now. Okay, finally. It's been a while. I think the fact that you can get Stratos directly out of the deck with a hero lives, and then you go +1, you get whatever Stratos does, and you can start your play extension from there, definitely makes it worth considering today. I know a hero lives is at 1, I believe. All right, let me double check. No, a hero lives is unlimited again. Man. But yeah, getting this card directly from the deck, immediately going +1 and still having your normal summon available, that's a little dirty. I can see why Stratos was at 1 forever, but I'm glad to see him back. One of my favorite heroes? You picked a good one. Considering every archetype wants a Stratos, or has one, shows how good he is. Also, the fact that Stratos could search copies of itself is really good. Yeah. That's weird. But this is the centerpiece of Airblade Turbo for a reason. You just run Stratos and everything. Man, your Destiny Hero deck with Stratos, Emergency Call, Destiny Draw. Man, D-Hero's looking pretty good with 3 copies of a Hero Lives. That's it for tonight. Let's, where's the save button? Save and download image. Bam. I'll be back next week, and let's check and see what next week is real quick. Next week is Force of the Breaker, and then a few minor sets. Very interesting. We sort of get another Stratos when we get to Force of the Breaker, to be honest, because we get Volcanic Rocket, which sort of does what Stratos does, but not quite as good. I don't know. I think Volcanic Rocket, real good card though. Good night. I'm going to play some E-Heroes. Play any kind of heroes. Oh boy, Volcanics. Oh yeah. I might have to wear my Force of the Breaker shirt for that stream. Coming out Thursday. Hopefully a little bit earlier, but, you know, sometimes technical difficulties. Things gotta update. Just gets there when we get there. But great stream. I'm glad to see everyone tonight. See you next Thursday.